Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video there's a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction ahead of our game against Leicester tomorrow. Then I'm going to be giving you the latest news regarding the director of football because there is huge developments on that. And then a bit later on in the video there's a few other things to talk about. So let's get on with the starting 11 prediction. I do presume Solskjaer's going to make some changes from our 1-1 draw with West Ham not too long ago. So I think Solskjaer will go with David De Gea in goal. I think he's going to stick with David De Gea because there has been a lot of Manchester United fans saying that David De Gea needs to be dropped and we need to put Sergio Romero there instead. I think possibly Sergio Romero could play in our Europa League games in August. But, Solskjaer's recently come out and defended David De Gea. He was talking about him the other week, saying that he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. Solskjaer did make an admission saying that David De Gea's position is under threat at the football club. And he's said that David De Gea does need to raise his game. Like I've said to you before, David De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United because in the last couple of years, he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. David De Gea has won everything here domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. There's a lot of United fans saying that we should sell David De Gea in the summer transfer window. But, if we was to sell David De Gea, who would replace him at the football club? Obviously, Dean Henderson, there's been talk saying that he could be our number one next season. Dean Henderson has now got that experience, though, because this has been his second season on loan with Sheffield United. And I've got to say he's been Sheffield United's player of the season. Dean Henderson's had quite a few other loan spells as well with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. I think we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle at just the age of 14. But we made the right decision by putting him out on loan. He recently said that we've been in talks with Dean Henderson over getting him a new long-term contract, and reportedly Dean Henderson is demanding around £100,000 a week. He recently said that Chelsea are looking to get Dean Henderson and they are willing to more than double his wages. Chelsea are reportedly willing to offer him around 170 grand a week. I think his current salary at the moment is around 70 grand a week, but Sheffield United are paying the vast majority of that. Solskjaer said the other week that he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number one and Manchester United's number one goalkeeper in the future. But I don't think, revert back to what I said about David De Gea, I don't think, we will sell him in the summer transfer window because he recently said that he's intending on staying at the football club for several years. When David De Gea does eventually leave Manchester United, I think he'll go back to Spain. The main explanations is because he was born in Spain, relatives are from Spain, began his footballing career in Spain with Atletico Madrid. And don't forget, back in 2015, David De Gea was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. David De Gea is the highest paid at the club and is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world because he is on £375,000 a week at Manchester United. But when he leaves Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. David De Gea has made 403 appearances for the football club in all competitions, so he's already overtaken Peter Schmeichel on appearances. There's been a lot of talks about Jan Black recently from Atletico Madrid. It says us and Chelsea are interested in him because Chelsea are looking for a replacement for Kepa Arrizabalaga. And obviously, we're looking for a replacement for David De Gea. But yeah, I think he will start David De Gea in this in our final game against Leicester. I think at right back, Solskjaer will go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka didn't start our game against West Ham. He was actually dropped because I think he'd sustained a slight knock. So Fosu-Mensah played ahead of him instead. But Bissaka did come on in the West Ham game. I think Wan-Bissaka needs to put a good performance out against Leicester because I think in the last few games he's looked a bit off the pace and he has looked a bit fatigued. But overall, I still think Wan-Bissaka's enjoyed a very, very good season for Man United. This has been his first season at the football club. We paid £45 million for him last summer from Crystal Palace, around 45 million, yeah. And I think he can be our right back for the next decade, can Wan-Bissaka. So, yeah. I think the centre-halves we'll go with is Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire. Now, I think Lindelof probably will be dropped for this game. Now, Solskjaer did say that Eric Bailly is going to get given time to prove his fitness. Don't forget, Eric Bailly recently had a head injury and he was recently discharged from hospital. But Solskjaer did say that he remained in London not too long ago to have all the checks. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he's injury prone, but prior to that, very, very good centre half. He probably now, at this moment in time, would be my preference over Victor Lindelof. So I think he's going to go with Bailly and Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, I think, needs to put a good performance out against Leicester. You know, he's going to be facing his former club. Because Harry Maguire's looked a bit off the pace recently and, you know, he's been making a lot of mistakes, just like Victor Lindelof has. You know, he's been making far too many touches and, you know, he's lacked decisive passes and all of that. But still think Maguire's had a pretty good season. Maguire, you know, paid £80 million for him. Second most expensive signing at the club and most expensive centre-half in the world. So, yeah, that'll be the centre-halves thing. Left back, Luke Shaw. I think that Luke Shaw is going to be available for this game. Same sort of thing with Eric Bailly. Solskjaer's going to give Luke Shaw time to prove his fitness. Luke Shaw has missed our last 3 games with an ankle injury. So, obviously, you know, reflects on that. I think Brandon Williams has been playing ahead of him. Well, Brandon Williams has started our last 2 games. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. But prior to that, very, very good left back. This has now been Luke Shaw's 6th season at Manchester United. The midfield, I think we're going to go with Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. That's what I'm hopeful of seeing. You know, Paul Pogba also needs to step up to the plate because he's looked a bit off the pace recently. You know, he's been making a few mistakes. You know, Paul Pogba has got 1 goal, you know, this season, and that goal came against Aston Villa, and that was his first goal for the football club since April 2019. We need to end the uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future, because if we get him a new long-term contract, then that will end the uncertainty over his future. There were stories coming out recently from Fabrizio Romano saying that Man United want to extend Paul Pogba's contract. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, is waiting for the offer. It came out the other week saying that we were close to getting Paul Pogba a new 5-year contract at the football club. And this contract is expected to be announced at the end of the season and that. You know, I didn't really have a perception on Pogba earlier on this season because he was out with that ankle injury and he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. At one point, it was looking very imminent that Pogba was going to be leaving the football club because last summer was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. Because last summer, Paul Pogba said he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge and even publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the club. There was a lot of narratives about him possibly going back to Juventus. Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus. There was talks about him going to PSG and Barcelona before. But like I said, since the turn of the year, we've been very, very critical of Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, you know, reflecting on some of the comments he has said. We believe that Mini Raiola was only the one that wanted his client to leave the football club. You know. But yeah, so as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his current contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for the further year. Pogba's one of the highest paid players at the club and is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. So far, he's won 2 trophies with the club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. So yeah, Pogba will start this game, I think, against Leicester. McTominay, I think he should start because he hasn't played any part in the last few games as Scott McTominay. I'm surprised he didn't play any part against Chelsea in the 3-1 defeat in the FA Cup semi-final. Didn't play any part against West Ham, did McTominay, so I expect him to be given a chance. Earlier on, before lockdown and all of that, you know, McTominay was getting a lot of starts. But since the resumption of the season, McTominay's been finding game time hard. You know, it's been Matic that's been getting there ahead of McTominay. They don't forget, McTominay was out with injury earlier on in the season. Another player that's been finding game time difficult since the resumption of the season, and that's Fred. And to be honest with you, I think Fred has enjoyed a fantastic season for Manchester United. What did we pay like £52 million in from Shakhtar Donetsk? I think we did get him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. A lot of people criticised Fred under Jose Mourinho, but, Fred never really got his opportunities under the Jose Mourinho era. But this season, he's been given his chance under Solskjaer, and he has done very, very well. And I probably believe that Fred is the foreseeable future for Man United and that. But I think we'll go with Bob McTominay where. Bruno Fernandes, obviously, in the number 10. I think Bruno Fernandes needs to put a good performance out against Leicester as well. Because he's looked off the pace in the last 2 or 3 games. He's lacked that composure, and that's unusual of Fernandes. Fernandes has still definitely made the difference in the team. He's scored 9 goals as Bruno Fernandes since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. Scored 9 goals for the football club. Don't forget, became the first Manchester United player to win back-to-back Player of the Months. Became the first Manchester United player to win a back-to-back Player of the Month since Cristiano Ronaldo, because Bruno Fernandes won Player of the Month for February, and he also won it for June and that. I think we'll put Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford has been playing on that left-hand side this season. I don't think he was too good against West Ham, so I'm hopeful that we see a better performance from Rashford, against Leicester. Like I said, Rashford was out earlier on in the season with a back injury. Rashford didn't really enjoy a good start to the season. Then he got that back injury, was out for 5 months. And he's done okay since the resumption of the season, but he hasn't been the best. By the way, I think Rashford got... I think he finished 3rd in the Football Player of the Year awards, and that's actually not a surprise. But Rashford has got 22 goals in all competitions this season for the football club. I think we'll put Mason Greenwood on the right. Mason Greenwood's been getting a lot of starts since the resumption of the season. Obviously, he has been our preference ahead of Daniel James. I think there's a possibility chance that Man United could loan Daniel James out for next season. Mason Greenwood's got, 17 goals in all competitions this season for Man United. Against West Ham, he scored that goal, and that was his 50th appearance for the football club. And I think he's enjoyed a very, very good season in our senior squad. This has been his first full season in the senior squad, Mason Greenwood, and I think he is only the age of 18. And I think up top, we're going to go with Anthony Martial. I also think that Anthony Martial has enjoyed a fantastic season under Solskjaer. Martial's got 22 goals in all competitions this season, and I think he's got 51 goals in the Premier League for Man United. This has been his 5th season at the football club. He's had 2 good years out of the 5 years he's been here, like I've said before. He's done well this season under Solskjaer, and he did very, very well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era, and that did Martial. He's looked very, very effective in that central position. So that's the 11 I think Solskjaer is going to go with tomorrow against Leicester. There's 2 other injuries we've got that I want to confirm with you. Tuan Zebe is out, and also Phil Jones is out with injury. But we know how much of a big game this is going to be against Leicester tomorrow. Obviously, it's the final game of the Premier League season, and it is a top 4 decider. So if we beat Leicester or we draw with Leicester, we will get qualification for the Champions League. Solskjaer knows how important Champions League qualification is, for the players, for attracting players, and for the financial structure. Top 4 is obviously our priority. But obviously, if we lose, we won't get qualification for the Champions League. Also, to the Europa League is a priority for us, because that's the only chance we've got of getting any silverware on the board this season. But if we win the Europa League, it will be our first trophy under Solskjaer, and plus if we win the Europa League, we'll get automatic qualification for the Champions League and that. If we finish 3rd and we win the Europa League, I'd say we've had a pretty good season. Solskjaer did say in his press conference ahead of the game against Leicester yesterday that the team have shown that they are going places, and the players are, and he said the players are progressing. He said the fitness levels have obviously improved. Solskjaer give 5 reasons behind our unbeaten run in the Premier League. Because we are unbeaten in our last 13 Premier League games, and that he said it's confidence, belief. Bruno Fernandes, we remain unbeaten since Bruno Fernandes came into the team. That obviously, in the league, we remain unbeaten since he came in. He was asked about, the 2-0 home defeat to Burnley. That's the last league game we lost, and he said, we actually, should have won that game. So these are some of the stuff, he did mention during his press conference. And just wait there a second. This is what I mentioned, during his press conference. But Solskjaer said the job is not done yet. He says if Manchester United finish third, it doesn't mean, we are capable of challenging for the title. But Leicester is going to be a very, very difficult game. Because Leicester, I think, have enjoyed an exceptional season. I think they have been in a bad vein of form recently because they recently lost 3-0 at Tottenham. But I still think they've enjoyed a very, very good season. I think Brendan Rodgers has been at Leicester now for over a year. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, Brendan Rodgers extended his contract with Leicester until 2025. Didn't he sign a 5.5-year deal? Brendan Rodgers has managed quite a few clubs. Before he was at Leicester, he managed Celtic for a few years, did well with them. He managed Liverpool, he managed Swansea, managed Reading, he managed Watford, and I also think he managed Chelsea's youth when he was a lot younger. And Leicester have recruited quite a few good players in under Brendan Rodgers. They've got the likes of Dennis Praet, Youri Tielemans, James Justin, and Perez. And Leicester, have let quite a few of their players go in recent years. Obviously, lost Harry Maguire to us last summer. They lost Riyad Mahrez to Man City in the summer of 2018. They lost Danny Drinkwater and N'Golo Kante to Chelsea. I think they've also lost a few other players of Leicester. But there you go. And Leicester have got a few injuries, by the way. I think Leicester are missing 5 or 6 players for this game tomorrow. So from our perspective, that's very, very good news. I think Leicester have got Ben Chilwell out. Like I said, that's good for us because Ben Chilwell's a very, very good left back. I think they've got Christian Fuchs out. They've got Armati out. They've got James Maddison out. He's also another good player. We was in for James Maddison earlier on in the season. They've also got Ricardo Pereira out. And they've got Marco Brighton out. And I think they've also got a player suspended in it, Sukani or something like that, who's suspended for Leicester. But we actually, got a pretty good record against Leicester. We are unbeaten in our last, 10 league games against them. We've only lost once at the King Power Stadium. And that came back in 2014 when we lost by 5-3. And that was under the Louis van Gaal era. We won the game earlier on in the season at Old Trafford against Leicester by 1-0. We beat them at the King Power last season by 1-0. So I'm pretty confident, we can win this game. We must win this game. We can't go into the game going for the draw because we will get punished if we do that. And we are winless in our last 2 games. So we need to see a performance from Manchester United. We really, really do. But even if, we don't get qualification for the Champions League, and even if we don't win the Europa League, Solskjaer will still be Manchester United manager next season. He will still be Man United manager next season because, I've already given you the biggest test Solskjaer's facing. The summer transfer window is a big test for Solskjaer. And next season is a big test for Solskjaer because next season Solskjaer is going to have bigger expectations to exceed. Next season our expectations will be to challenge for the Premier League title. And I'm hopeful that we can win a title under Solskjaer. And if we could do this, it would be our 21st title in total. Because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League. So, and we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. I think it all depends on Champions League qualification when our transfer budget gets revealed. So if we get qualification for the Champions League, I think a decision will be made on our transfer budget. Because there is a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window because of the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic. And like I said, our pre-season plans and our transfer strategy are all up in the air due to the uncertainty of how the current season will finish. We know on the 27th of July, which is just under 2 days away, that the summer transfer window is opening. Solskjaer has told Ed Woodward the positions he wants to strengthen up because he's still deficiencies in the squad where Manchester United are lacking. Solskjaer's looking to recommend a striker in, a right winger, and a centre defensive midfielder. I think he's also looking to recommend a centre half in, and he's also looking to recommend a full back in. So he has confirmed his transfer priorities. It did say yesterday that Solskjaer's targeting 5 players to overhaul the Manchester United squad. At the start of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, he said he wanted to make around 9 signings. He agreed this with Mike Phelan. And so far, Solskjaer's made 4 permanent signings at the football club. And obviously, he got Odion Ighalo on loan. So far, Solskjaer spent just over £200 million at Manchester United, and he's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to the football club. So his plans for the summer transfer window have been revealed, So now let's give you the news regarding the director of football. So I was reading recent reports and it says that Ed Woodward is looking to appoint a director of football to Manchester United this summer to follow Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's structure. Now, the names that have been linked with Manchester United is Andrea Berta, who's at Atletico Madrid. Also, Fabio Paratici from Juventus. He's been linked with the director's role at Man United. Before, Paul Mitchell's been linked with the director's role. Patrice Evra, I think, at one point was linked with a role. Darren Fletcher was also linked with a role. Former Manchester United player just like Evra. Edwin van der Sar was also linked with a role. I think he's currently the CEO at Ajax at the moment, is Edwin van der Sar. So there has been quite a few names mentioned. Do you think Manchester United need to recommend a director of football in? Because I did say before, didn't I, that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. But it did say a while ago that Ed Woodward was no longer interested in appointing a director of football in. But now there has been a change of plan. Obviously, if we can get one in, it'll help us, get the players that we do want into the football club in the summer transfer window and all of that. Because, like I said regarding Ed Woodward, and not only Ed Woodward, the Glazers, we've been very, very critical of them for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've been criticised, for overpaying for players, because I will make an admission, we have overpaid for players in recent years. Ed Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. So this has been Woodward's 8th year at Man United, and this has been the Glazers' 15th year at the football club. But Woodward also got criticised, for his poor selection of managers, because, like I said, we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes. He enjoyed 8 or 9 months at the club. We sacked Louis van Gaal. He enjoyed 2 years at the club. Did win the FA Cup under him, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. He enjoyed 2.5 years at the club, and he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. So Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Since the Ferguson era and all of that. So that is the latest news regarding that. The players that are linked with Manchester United, obviously, Jadon Sancho is our number 1 priority target. Obviously, Jack Grealish is still on our agenda. I think he'll leave Aston Villa if Villa get relegated. Also, there's a few other players on our agenda. On my next video, I'm going to be giving you the news on Jan Oblak and Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. So there's always lots to talk about on my videos and that. But the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Like I said, we're not only going to focus on the incomings in the summer transfer window, we're also going to focus on the outgoings as well. Because there's more deadwood at the football club that Solskjaer needs to get rid of. I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in the summer transfer window. It said the other week that we'd put 6 players up for sale, and that was Jesse Lingard, Sanchez, Smalling, Jones, Rojo and Diego Dalot. But we sell players in the summer transfer window, we will generate money. we will generate money and all of that. And like I said, we are faced a dilemma regarding the contracts because we have still got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. We've got to make a decision on these 8 players. But we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended into the football club. But Solskjaer's now been at Man United just over a year and a half. Just over a year and a half. And I think he's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 16 months. Earlier on in the season, don't forget, we'd enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. And at that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting the sack. But like I said, the vast majority of this team is not Solskjaer's. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, and Solskjaer's inheriting them. There's still a few players here from the Van Gaal era. There's still Matty here from the David Moyes era. And still a few players here from the Ferguson era that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting. But we've got to give him more time at the football club. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.